Welcome to the Secretariat. Today, we have the AMC Commissioner, Mr. M. Thennarasan, with us. So, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Let us dive straight into the conversation. So, when you wake up every morning, 70 lakh people's aspirations are joined and they look up to you because they expect a lot from the city. How does that feel?
Yeah, definitely. Frankly speaking, this is a kind of challenge, and the challenge, like to deliver at on an everyday space, basis. So the city and then the surrounding areas together, actually, we are reaching somewhere around 10 million populations overall. There are challenges in terms of basic services, and then aspiration, as you rightly said, Indian cities and Indian people are aspiring being a developing country and transition to the developed nations. That's a phase wherein actually the expectations, the aspirations are so high, and try to meet them actually in a way of what as a citizen envisage in the requirements. So there are outstanding, projects have been initiated by the Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation with the help of both the central government and the state government under the visionary leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Bhai Modi and also Honorable Chief Minister Shri Bhupendra Bhai Patel. So one such transition, what you see in the riverfront itself, actually we all witnessed probably 20 years back what was the situation, how it has been transformed. So looking at that, in a way, actually, this aspirations doesn't get me bogged down, actually. So it gives me, kind of an opportunity to look for new arenas, new avenues, how to accommodate their aspiration in part of, mobilizing, resources and try to deliver through our services and trying to improve our service mechanisms, and by way of doing administrative reform as well as incorporating new technologies like AI, artificial intelligence and digital transformations, data, analytics. In such fields, we try to accommodate there, and also giving wide range of services, right from, as you rightly said, to waking up to, properly going to bed. So almost all the services are provided by the corporations. So this is one of the challenging aspect, and that challenge itself is actually pushing us forward to deliver the services in the right way.
Entire world is right now facing a huge climate crisis. Ahmedabad is no less. We've seen a very critical heat wave, and even the cold is expected to be much more. And what are the policies in place, and what is something that we can expect in the upcoming budget?
Ahmedabad Municipal Corporation is the first corporation in India to adopt net zero climate resilience city action plan, okay, and which was published by Honorable Chief Minister in 2023 as a part of E20 chair. Ahmedabad is being a E20 chair, urban 20 chair, part of the C20 cycle. This was adopted by us, and there were various sections to address the climate resilient and climate mitigation and climate issues as such. So looking into that, actually, we all know actually what kind of climate vagaries and we face every day, whether it is a heat waves, whether it is urban flooding or air pollution, emissions, and such an important climate factors. So looking into that, we are being a subtropical region, actually having almost all these issues quite common in the cities. And also the challenge is actually more and more urbanization, more and more people coming into the cities actually, and then as you rightly said, the aspiration to have cars and then travel in the city with their own cars, actually adding to the problems we already have actually. So how do you do that actually? That's we have a very robust action plan wherein we have a strategies, and then addressing these issues, we have first city to form a net zero cell in India. So this net zero environment and climate resilience cell was established in this year in March actually, under the direct supervision of Municipal Commissioner, wherein this cell is aspiring to form annual action plan and 5-year action plan. We want to address those issues, and we would be addressing it in such a way that the low-hanging fruits, how we can transit into the net zero phase, and also there are complex issues where how do we incorporate phase-wise, to address the issues. So that way, actually, we have done it. Actually, we have come up with some innovative ideas and schemes to address it. Actually, and there were many big ticket projects also been taken to convert our energy consumption from fossil fuel and conventional methodology to the renewable source of energy. And similarly, we have come up with a very big program, mission 3 million tree this year actually, and then every stakeholders, including the private societies, have been approached, and we touched every base actually, by way of giving them the plants, and our team going there actually planting in their premise. And in addition to that, we created actually, we have done this plantation drive in 100 days. Fortunately, this year having a good amount of rainfall, actually we got a good survival rate, more than 90% plants are surviving. And this probably 3 years down the line we'll have a pockets of green lungs in the city. Actually, we have developed more than 150 such urban forest plots. So we hope actually this would increase another 2 to 3% forest cover in the city.
Is the AMC also collaborating with international agencies or seeking global climate grants, or collaborating with the central government so that collectively one can make that difference?
We collaborate with the major agencies as well as the central government and the state government for mobilizing the resources, consent, and adapting the framework given by the central government and the state government. Few projects, we could take the grant from the government of Gujarat actually in terms of adapting to the renewable source of energy under the Swarnim Gujarat Fund. Actually, we recently awarded about 30 megawatt solar, plant. So that would, probably in 2 years down the line, actually we would be taking about 40% of our consumption from renewable source of energy. So that's a huge jump actually. One can imagine amount of emissions reduction in those strategies. Similarly, central government is actually helping us for the circular economy as well as water sector actually, wherein we can adopt nature-based solutions and the treated wastewater use, those kind of things. Overall, in addition to these aspects, actually we do mobilize resources through green bond. Okay, we went for a green bond about 200 crore actually last year, and this is used for the green initiatives projects. And also we have proposed an innovative idea to generate green TDR, tradable development rights, to fund these net zero climate adaptation projects, so which would ultimately reduce the emissions and help us to reach net zero by 2070, those projects. We this could be divided into 2-3 sectors. One is the public sector as such, actually, like corporations being a big consumer of energy. So how we could adapt strategies to migrate towards the net zero, and also how to involve each stakeholders actually, whether the developers, whether the citizens. And there were schemes like, we announced green, blue, yellow roof schemes, wherein any society, any individual house having, terrace garden, and then you have a water harvesting structures, rainwater harvesting structures, and also solar roof. So if you have this, actually the corporation gives additional 10% property tax reductions to boost, and part of the incentive to adopt people for this process. So it's a huge exercise actually. It's not government alone could reach this actually. As a consumer, every citizen has a role to play, and we hope actually by taking them along with us, actually we can achieve this project. So this way, and then as I said, green TDR, about we are envisaging about 1,000 crore project every year, so that it will help us to migrate towards the net zero initiatives.
And also, what will be the key matrix that will be put into use, as you said about data using artificial intelligence, because Ahmedabad is into various zones.
Yeah.
So how are we going to put the key matrices in place to measure or co-measure all the climate changes that
Yeah, I understand. As I said, actually, every project has to have a kind of, data analytics, and then collect the primary data and then analyze it. And after that, actually, how the trend is being formulated, and then we update periodically. The first factor is actually, suppose, for example, for the air quality management, we do have a sensor based on the risk analysis. We have done it actually. Based on the basic risk analysis, actually, we have some ward. So we have 48 administrative wards actually. Then there are hotspots. So we take the hotspots actually, measure the air quality, and then and we adopt strategies to mitigate those, and then we measure it. Okay, where we were standing last year, or probably 2 months back, actually, where we are now, actually, and what kind of measures could intervene to bring down this matrix. Similarly, the heat island effect, the urban flooding effect, and kind of spatial waterlogging in the cities. How these things could be brought under the various parameters, and with artificial intelligence, as you rightly said, actually having the monitoring system, we have more than 6,000 cameras in the city, and which actually capture the waterlogging parts actually, and then give us a comprehensive analytical aspects, and also the standard. This is a rudimentary stage actually, so we would be adapting in a bigger way actually to mitigate these issues.
Ahmedabad skyline is evolving. So with the evolving skyline, now the city is expanding vertically. Recently, we saw that up to 45 floors buildings can be constructed. So now with that challenge, how are we trying to make sure that the citizens get the basic infrastructure in place?
This is a very pertinent question actually. It was a very, very important and pertinent to present day development aspects. As you rightly said, actually there are many buildings with a height of more than 100 meters, 125 meters are coming up in the city. In a way, it's good actually. It's going to be compact, and then help us to have a good mobility plan and last mile connectivity. But that also poses a major challenge in terms of augmenting our underground infrastructure in terms of water, in terms of drainage, and also providing public amenities in terms of gardens and because in a smaller footprint we have a huge number of populations very high. So looking into that, actually we are on to that. Actually, we are with the help of various multilateral bank and agencies actually working on augmenting our plan, and we are coming up. We know actually there are stress on the water drainage and stormwater and other lines, actually road on the western side, and we were come up with one more wide trunk line starting from Vaishno Devi to Fatehwadi. So that would relieve major stress on those aspects, and also the pockets where we have more and more buildings are coming up. We have decided to revise our infra strategy, and based on the projections, we'll go for augmenting for next 30 years.
WHO has made sure that for the number of citizens living, there has to be a particular square meters of green cover. Now, to increase the green cover in the city, which is right now missing, you just mentioned that we are planting trees. We have gone for the 3 million challenge in the with plantation drives, but still with so much of development happening, widespread urbanization happening, how do we make sure that the green cover will be intact for the citizens?
See, as you rightly said, actually WHO is making some parameters. You say 6.8 square meters something actually.
Yes,
that is what available in Ahmedabad against the 9 actually, which is supposed to be there for ideally. But see, I said actually last 5 years we planted more than 8 million actually trees. Plantation is not actually important, because how much survival is there actually, that's more important. We do have a plantation, very robust greening policy for the city. The city would have urban forest in places where it is reserved. The government of Gujarat, under the leadership of Honorable Chief Minister, also have come up with each TP scheme will have 1% of the area reserved for the urban forest. And similarly, as I said, actually more than 150 urban forest hotspots have been created by us this year alone, actually. And we started collaborating with various central government, state government agencies to augment this aspect, like railway lines on both the side, avenue plantations, lake side plantations, strengthening it, and societies. We need the societies to come in a larger way, actually. We do last year and this current year actually run about 35 tree ruts, Ruksha ruts. The main aims to, if anybody dials or anybody, reserves, makes a request, our team goes there, actually plants as per their wish, and then try to teach them or educate them how to maintain the trees. So this is the ongoing process, and Honorable Union Home Minister also is very keen on actually getting the city green. Actually, he also puts a lot of emphasis on this aspect. So in one particular area, we have come up with more than 1 million tree, actually. So in the longer we want to create a bigger lung space, actually, by having biodiversity park in near Gasport, and then our aim is to actually, and also the green roof top. That's the terrace garden also. That would bring down the heat effect also in such a way. That is our strategy to bring to bring up the green cover per person, actually, for the requirement.
Sir, with three modes of public transport in the city being the AMTS, BRT and the metro, how do we still encourage people to use public transport? Because in Ahmedabad, the use of private vehicles is way more than other cities, and people are somewhere refraining themselves from accessing the public transport.
Right. Yeah, it's a complex issue. Basically, transportation is a complex issue as far as the government is concerned. The city administration is concerned. We are trying to provide the infrastructure and also a wide network and try to reach the last mile connectivity. And as you rightly said, three modes: metro, BRTS, and we have AMTS buses actually trying to. Yeah, and also I think somewhere around we have a ridership of about 700,000 every day. So this a city like us, probably we need more. It's still more. We are planning for another 1,000 buses into that, and 260 buses we already gone for the tender. Actually, it's in award stage. So as you rightly said, actually the city is basically in Indian cities are aspiring for having cars, actually. So we have come up with actually cross subsidization process and trying to impose environmental improvement charges and other aspects. Actually, public transportation in India is never be a profitable proposition. But however, the corporation is committed to run these services with more clean mobility services and giving an affordable rate, and more importantly, the last mile connectivity. So anybody who wants to come out of office and reach the home, actually they should have a connectivity. That is our basic strategy. And to educate, we have so much incentives given for the college students, for the women, for senior citizens, and and it is quite affordable in the sense. So for further reliability of our services, and we would go for all efforts to strengthen our mobility and try to integrate as intermodal transport agencies, both BRTS and with a single transit ticket, actually seamless traveling along with the metro and also BRTs.
So in the upcoming budget, would we be able to see any projects or any specific schemes and policies in place for green and renewable energy in the public transport? Like, are we expecting anything major in the upcoming budget so that climate change can be also addressed via public transport?
Yeah, it's an ongoing process. It's a continuous process, actually, wherein because when we look for 2070 as a target to migrate towards net zero and green energy, and there are budget provisions for every year actually. Already we are trying to spend about nearly 30 to 40% of our budget towards this climate adaptation, mitigations and water conservation aspects. So this year also we are going for the climate budgeting. This will be our first climate budgeting. So it'll be focusing on sustainable development and climate resilience to address the urban heat waves, flooding, and all sort of vagaries of monsoon and disaster, such things. So, like as I said, about 260 buses, e-buses procurement, and we are migrating. We're transition from the CNG buses to the e-buses. That's a major one actually, and we have already committed to convert about 50 megawatt of fossil fuel energy to the renewable source of energy. 30 megawatt has been proposed already and probably on stage of implementation, and 20 will come from the wind energy, and this will be further strengthened actually, probably doubling the requirement in the next year, and also converting all our energy consumption equipments, okay, including the efficient pumps in water operations and drainage operations, which could save us much energy. And we'll have the continuous sustainable greening aspect, greening policy, green waste disposal policy, and zero waste city, and that also we are going to take it up in a larger way. And also, and this year we have actually a part of the circularity project, actually waste to energy project, about 1000 TPD, tons per day, and 15 megawatt energy plant has been commissioned, and that's gave us kind of zero waste city. Actually, what I generate in a day, actually I'm actually recycling it in the same day, processing it. So this would augment the city for moving towards a zero waste city in a bigger way. And overall we could expect actually more in the upcoming budget towards climate adaptation and net zero resilient city aspects.
So, what would be the top 5 priorities for AMC in the next 5 years?
See, we go for part of the national government's vision of 2047 Viksit Bharat, and we do align our goals along with the state government and central government in this aspect. Viksit Bharat, Viksit Gujarat, and Viksit Ahmedabad 2047. We have come up with a comprehensive plan to align ourselves for 2047. What are the sectors where we have advantage? What are the sectors we need to improve in terms of aspiration of the people in infrastructure and other aspects, and also aligning with our aspiration to host 2036 Olympic in Ahmedabad and creating such infrastructure there. With this, actually, our focus will be on, actually, as I said, actually, providing sustainable development and focusing on the clean energy transition, and giving clean mobility options with strength and last mile connectivity, and then bringing the zero waste city actually with the sustainable waste generation and the processing aspect, and also we do the greening aspect in a bigger way, actually bringing infrastructure, including the development of city comes part of that. Actually, the buildings will be categorized into green, platinum, and silver mode, wherein the government is offering about 12%, 7%, and 5% incentives as part of the TDR consumption, and try to bring affordable housing in a bigger way for the accommodation of the floating population as well as the immigrants in the city, and make housing as appropriate offer in the sense for the growing city. Because see, in 2050 the data says about 65% of the people are going to live in cities. This urbanization is going to pose a great challenge to all the administrators. So we have to prepare ourselves to face that, actually, because cities are pivotal points of employment generations. When there's a huge employment generation in terms of logistics and service industries in the cities, actually, and having so many industrial hubs around the cities like Sanand and on the other side, uh, there are many pharma industries, and we have a Gandhinagar twin industry, gift cities, and all other things. So that is an opportunity for us to uh, make a grand plan actually to accommodate each and every individual's sections, uh, aspirations and their need. So this would be, and then our plan, we do have 20 years development plan that is also in the process. Actually, we try to create a compact sustainable cities, and with the FAR going up and the cities, and with the robust mobility plan and robust infrastructure, trying to shift towards the developed nation aspect, and creating opportunities for employment in the cities in a bigger way. And everything will be coming at the cost of, not compromising the climate aspects, and following the sustainable development strategies.
So, as Ahmedabad is prepping up to host the 2036 Olympics, how does the corporation plan to make it infrastructure ready?
See, we already said part of the Viksit Gujarat and Viksit Ahmedabad 2047, actually, we already moved in a right direction by roping in agencies to make a plan for us. So this is the process. Actually, shortly we'll award all those bids to the successful bidders. And meanwhile, Government of Gujarat has already formed a separate SPV for the Olympic management and administration, and we are into preparation of master plan for creating facilities, sports facilities, creating stadiums, and then creating housings and Olympic village, and in 2-3 places like the Sardar Patel Enclave, and then also the Karai Police Academy, and these are the spots wherein we are trying to bring infrastructure. And also the riverfront, government has decided to extend the riverfront up to Sant Sarovar. Actually, it's about more than 30 kilometers length that would be completed. And also the focus will be on a sustainable development, again, on livability in the city. And these are the two major points with the equity, gender equity. This would help us to augment our aspiration to bid for the Olympic. So this whole Olympic thing is being taken, but keeping in mind we're bidding actually, but at the same time actually our focus will be creating more sports infrastructure to create more sports persons in the city. Actually, one aspects of that actually is the Naranpura Sports Complex, which is coming up very fast. Actually, probably within 2 to 3 months, actually you'll have a world-class infrastructure there actually. And similarly, the city, actually we want to foster the sports culture in the city. We are coming up with each zone actually one sports complex, and also having so many multiple swimming pools and then playgrounds in each quarter. Actually, this is where we actually prepare ourselves to compete upcoming Olympics in 2036, and prior to that actually we'll be having a series of games being played there.
Okay. Sir, Ahmedabad is home to likewise a multimillionaire and a daily wage laborer. So what can be expected from the corporation? What are the 1 or 2 things that would make both the segments happy?
See, the corporation, responsibility is also treat every citizens equally and then give them equal opportunity. So right from the downtrodden, the immigrants, and probably the weaker section, and also, as you rightly said, the higher section, we try to fulfill their aspirations. So there are so many schemes of Government of India and Gujarat. Actually, we try to link them. We were actually number 2 or number 3 in India actually in terms of delivering PM Swanidhi schemes. Thereby linking the vendors. Okay, and coming up with the vending policy for giving them a proper space for their own business. We have come up with, I think, about 35 vegetable markets in the city. 5 are actually already been opened, and they have been given a permanent space without fear of being evicted from the road. and with a legal authority to do the business actually. Similarly, our plan is to accommodate each and every vendors in the city, and also those who are coming here actually should have a accommodation at affordable rate actually. That's why we set our focus is on housing. And also third aspect, we would try to create a rental complexes also where somebody comes actually, they can rent for few months and then stay here actually do work, and creating opportunities for those people actually, because they are the fulcrum of the entire employment and the GDP generation aspect. And for the aspirational higher sections actually, you need infrastructure which has to match probably the developed nations. So we are trying to create the iconic roads. One was created in Airport Road actually. Similarly, we come up with the Sindhu Bhavan, Rajpath Club Road, Science City roads, and we have taken up about more than 2,000 crore projects, such projects actually, to bring a world-class infrastructure, try to address each and every aspects of the citizen actually, and make them ease of living is a high priority for us.
So in this case, why does the corporation has to roll out schemes for tax collection so that people pay tax early, or people have a subsidy on paying tax early? And do you think that somewhere the citizens have a feeling of dissatisfaction of getting the basic infrastructure in place against paying these taxes?
That's not the case actually. It's a democratic country actually. There's 80% of the people paying the tax in regular way actually, putting 20% actually because sometimes they take it for granted. Okay, and taxation, it's hardly about 20% of our overall budget. So 80% actually we mobilize from other sources. We are not in collecting the entire expenditure or budget size from the tax. And taxation, we are trying to, because as I said, it's aspiration, it's a challenge. We are trying to provide as much services as possible with the quality. But as I said, actually, sometime being a government agency, it's been taken for granted for not paying the tax. But we appreciate actually more than 85% of the Ahmedabadis pay the tax. So in a year. So I think it goes up actually year-wise. Actually, if you look at the 60, 70, 80, now 85%, actually we aspire to reach around 90%. So that we touch the wider base tax network. So, and the taxation is actually quite reasonable. I don't think it's very high. It's reasonable, and again, so suppose if you look into that, actually my delivering water service at the house steps is about nearly 10 rupees, more than 10 rupees. But we hardly collect about 0.75 rupees per household residential, and about 2 to 3 rupees overall. Okay, that's a kind of cross subsidization we do for the services. So in a way, taxation makes the people to be part of the city, and their duty and responsibility towards the city administration. That's it.
Sir, amidst all this busy schedule, how do you find some time, say, for wildlife photography or oil painting, which are your hobbies or which makes you?
I hope actually, but it's very. It's the last time I went for probably wildlife photography before coming to this corporation. So this is about 2 years back. I went to Nalsarovar to capture some flamingos and some migratory birds there. So this passion, some you click it actually, you probably from the busy schedule actually, and get into such hobbies and probably de-stress you to some time actually, and then help you to hone our skills on photography something. So that's aspect I like to do that, but it's a highly demanded aspect actually.
So you've seen the riverfront built from scratch. Which is the most favorite part of the riverfront that you enjoy spending time at, and how often do you get time to actually enjoy the riverfront amenities?
Yeah, see, every day actually, of course, every day I come across riverfront actually, either way, because I spend 2 to 3 days here in the office, actually 2 to 3 days in my main office. So I love, the entire section of the riverfront actually, starting from the first phase and second phase. But more time I spend here actually, there are spots which have been created, like the Sadar Bridge to the Ellis Bridge part. Actually, we come up with a flower park, event ground. There is a good walkways, and the Atal Bridge become a icon of Ahmedabad actually totally. There are the food courts, and there are many projects are lined up actually, so that the riverfront will become more active actually as such.
So, which is your favorite part of the roof?
My favorite part, I can say three actually. I can't single out actually, though the entire riverfront enjoyable part of that. As I said, actually this Atal Bridge part actually is one of the most preferred spot. I also like the Subhash Garden, and just opposite to Gandhi Bridge, Gandhi Ashram. That is also one stretch. The Dafnala site, and this other was the Vallabh Southern. Actually, we have it actually.
Sir, as a layman, when a layman gets stuck in traffic or faces potholes, waterlogging, they tend to immediately blame the corporation, or they just put it on the system. So if you ever get stuck in traffic or get face waterlogging, what comes to your mind?
See, since I'm in part of the system, corporation system. Yeah, see, traffic. I because I haven't exposure. Probably I think of actually spending time in probably New York. Having to spend about nearly 1 hour in a traffic compared to 10 minutes in Ahmedabad is much luxury in Ahmedabad. But at the same time, actually, in my mind, actually being administrator things, and what best we can do it actually to lessen this traffic problem also. Is it a problem mainly because of management, or is it the infrastructure related issues? And what are the things we could follow it up actually, whether you need a bridge, or whether you need a left turn, or whether you do proper designing of junctions, or actually the management aspect, actually the automated traffic control systems, something like that, this way. But I am also after all actually a normal citizen actually, and when you have a waterlogging actually, because on the other side, probably as a citizen side, the citizens are right actually waterlogged actually, but as this side, because I know the entire system, what infrastructure holds actually, and what's the design for this infrastructure has been based. So accordingly, I'm actually got some scientific knowledge into that. So I know that actually the waterlogging will be there for an hour or probably two, but after that the system will take. So that's the way, because as we say, the climate resilience, climate actions, which vary year to year actually, with the coming up this La Nino and El Nino kind of concepts. So this is a quite frequent aspects. But wherever where intervention required, where actually the issues are there, actually there is a greater amount of dissatisfaction to the people. So we try to address it actually. We try to incorporate. Like this year rainfall, actually we had issues in some places. So we trying to address permanently through concrete projects actually. So already we floated tenders, bidding has been done. We're trying to work, and also we concentrate on nature-based solution to incorporate all water bodies in the city to hold the water actually during the rain. So these are our, as I think I look into those aspects when I also got stuck in this kind of situation.
If you had to give a description of a dream utopian master plan of Ahmedabad, I mean, if AI had to generate it, how would Ahmedabad look like?
Yeah, that in a way actually you have a modern elements coming up with preserving the values of your roots, including the UNESCO heritage site, and at the same time giving satisfaction to every service, and whether it is the government based services. And I think actually probably 20 years down the time, actually the services will be delivered at the doorstep. Actually, people may not come to, even today it's happening actually, probably it will be at the higher level. And we can see improvements in terms of mobility, and people also would realize actually coming in the entire world as a global village, actually the greater amount of exposure, and then the services will be like e-commerce flourishing. Artificial intelligence will rule the roost basically. So in such a way that I could expect Ahmedabad being a modern Ahmedabad having all kind of infrastructure with uh, greater amount of greeneries actually we can dream, and then with nature-based solution for linking of lake water bodies and clean air, and probably this is a kind of dream actually we all do that, but it also comes with a sense of responsibility from everyone actually part of that. So, and then on the other side, the Olympic and 2047 as a Viksit Bharat. So, and it's a greater dream and greater challenge, it's strategies to reach that. As we said, we have about 28 strategies with more than 80 actions to reach this aspect. Everything is in place. Hope actually to achieve those.
Sure, sir. Sir, anything else you would like to, via this platform, convey to the citizens and the stakeholders of the city?
Yeah, see, the city, anywhere actually if you go, no city actually got developed or probably disciplined overnight. If you go for the Singapore, or Singapore has come up with today's Singapore actually because a lot of effort has been put actually, and in that actually the people participation also huge. So I would request actually, yeah, we do give service, and sometimes we may not be satisfied also with our services. We are open to that, address that issues. I would appeal to all the citizens of the Ahmedabad. We should make the city clean and make our position as a number one city, in a clean city in India. And we do all efforts to do that actually, to reach that. I need your commitment and also support to us actually in terms of making the city clean. And also try to look into the aspects of climate adaptation, resilient and sustainable development, and we earnestly request your cooperation to adopt those strategies with us. And being a stakeholder, your suggestions, your ideas will always be honored and probably try to incorporate in our projects and strategies. And that's from my side actually, and wish them everyone the best success in their endeavors.
Sure, sir. Sir, I hope this was a very insightful conversation for
Thank
us
you.
also.
Thank
The
you.
viewers will definitely find a lot of insights here.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for your valuable
Thank
time.
you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.